a million miles away. Hello, how are you over there? You're like, oh my god! You know, like. I just wanted to talk about what happened recently. It was a Saturday. My mom was in like a different town, like hours away, like an hour and a half away. And usually I don't go anywhere alone with Mariana or have to really like get her ready to go anywhere by myself. Like usually Lee will get her ready and then like I'll leave probably before he does, or like right around when he is. This day I had to get her ready completely by myself, which like I feel like most people watching are gonna be like, yeah, welcome to being a parent. But I have really bad anxiety, so I avoid things. You know, I take a route that will be the least stressful. This day I could not, and I was gonna go to my grandma's to eat and like just hang out, but I had said like I was gonna be leaving soon or something, so I was like kind of in a hurry. I was just really hungry. So I started to get her ready, and she was just really fussy, but it's fine. I got her ready, whatever. We have 2 steps outside of our door, like on our front porch, off of our front porch, and those are really slippery, so keep that in mind. So, you know, I go out to the car, and I go to put her in the car, and I look in the car, and I realize there's no car seat base. Lee has one of them. We have 3 in total, and my mom has the other 2. One is actually put in the car that she was driving, and one was in the back of it because somebody else had used it. I think it was like my dad or something. And when we picked her up, we already had a base. Or I don't really remember how that went about, but whatever. Somehow there's the 2 car seat bases in that car. So keep in mind, like I said, I don't get her ready. Therefore, I don't mess with car seat bases. I don't mess with tightening them or putting them in or anything. I really don't know much about it, which we even like went to one of the places, I don't remember where. We went to like a baby fair where they had, I don't know who was there, but like people that are certified to help you and teach you about like putting in car seat safety, blah, blah, blah. I was going to put her in the car seat base, wasn't there. I look in the other car, no car seat base. I started to freak out because there's no car seat base. At this time, I had little knowledge that you could put in a car seat base, or put in a car seat without the base, and that that's a normal thing. For me, I feel more comfortable with the base because I feel like the base, I can get it, they can get it, not me, I can't. Like my mom and her dad can get it locked in better. And then it also like latches onto the car seat, so like literally everything is stuck. Whereas when you just use a seatbelt with a car seat, that's just, it's scary. I don't trust it as much. I just feel like there's a lot more room for air to happen. I don't know, whatever, but that'll make sense in a minute. So I start freaking out. I call Lee. I'm like, he didn't answer, but I like texted him. I was like, you have the car seat base, because he knew I needed to leave, and he had the only other car seat base in town. And then I call my mom telling her she has the other 2. Again, no one answered, so I like texted them all of this too. So I go back in the house, call my grandma, because Mariana was now already asleep in this car seat, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm literally starving because we had nothing, I mean nothing in the house that like you could make a decent food out of. So I go back inside, you know, talking to my grandma, kind of freaking out because like what if something happens? Like I don't have a car seat base to take her anywhere. I was just like really stressed out. She was like, okay, well I'll go get you food and I'll bring you food. And I was like, okay, God bless. But I was like, but I really want to get out of the house. So I look up how to like put a car seat base, or how to like strap the car seat in without the base. So I was like, okay, well, I'll like go ahead and go. I'll take the BMW. I go to walk out my steps, and the slippery steps I tell you about, after I locked the door and I'm stressed out and like upset because like that was just really stressful for me. You know, anytime something like goes unexpected, it just really stresses me out. And I fall down the steps. My ankle hits like 2 different times, and I fall on my foot weird. And I drop the car seat, it hits my ankle. It broke her fall, so that's good. She was still sound asleep when she hit the ground because I had the car seat in my hand and it fell when I fell. And you know, I'm outside now and we have neighbors, so I was trying not to be like, oh my god, you know, like trying not to scream, trying not to cry, trying not to freak out. So I was like, it was really bad because like it really hurt. And so she's really heavy, so I struggle to carry her in a car seat in general because like her car seat's pretty weighted, more than like others that I've carried. And then she is heavy. So I'm not very strong, and I struggle to carry her by herself, let alone in the car seat, let alone, you know, her in the car seat, let alone with what I thought was broken at the time. Well, I didn't think it was broken. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is the worst my foot's ever felt. And it was really bad. I was limping to the car trying to carry her to one side. It was so bad. There's so many signs, like, there was like, hey, red flag, don't leave the house. Car seat base not being there, like, falling down the steps. I think I struggled with locking the door. I struggled with getting her ready. There's like so many things that just kept happening, saying, hey, Kat, do not leave the house. But of course I didn't listen. I was like, oh, I'm just being a big baby. I'm just being paranoid. No, you weren't. The universe was trying to tell you, do not leave the house. There is something that's going to go wrong. And it did. We're getting there. Okay, so I get her in the car, and I was struggling to get her, like strapped in. I still wasn't sure she was, like, 100% secure. And I was like, you're just being a big baby. You're fine. She's fine. Like, you're just being overly paranoid. That's your anxiety talking. Like, you're good to go. But I was, like, still, like, uncomfortable. I was like, whatever, we'll go. So, you know, she's strapped in without a base. Pretty sure I still got her strapped in properly, but I, like at the time, just, I didn't know. And, like, looking back, I still don't know if I did, but, like, I'm pretty sure I did. So I'm pulling out. I have the BMW now that I'm driving, and, I realized it was being kind of weird. And our road is ridiculous. Like, pulling out is horrible because it's at the bottom of a hill, and it's, like, the country roads. It's, like, a big road, too. Not a big road. A main road at the bottom of a hill, and you cannot see cars coming this way, right? So people always say go to the back way because you can take another the street over and, like, pull out, and it's easier to see. It's, like, kind of easier to see, but, like, I honestly think the road, the way it is, so there's, like, there's the road, and then there's, like, gravel, and I think that's what saved me in this incident that we're about to speak of. But I go to pull out and, like, go towards that way, like, pull out of our driveway, like, reversing it. And I was, like, looking for cars, didn't see any, but again, it's very hilly, so I don't know for sure. And I reverse it, and it's just, like, going really slow, and I was, like, am I just, like, not hitting the gas? Because most of the cars, besides that one, are pretty touchy. Like, you barely hit the gas and you're flying, especially the Chrysler, because it's got some sort of engine. The Firebird has, like, a V8 engine, so, like, you just go. You really go. And this car does not. And I was just like, whatever. You know, I didn't think much of it. And then I get this warning, and I couldn't read it because I don't know what happened whenever I had my baby, but my vision's, like, out of focus. So I had to, like, really sit there and stare at something for my vision to focus on it. You can't do that when you're driving because you got to focus on other stuff. So, you know, I get towards the end of the road, and I realize the car is just being really weird. It's not going very fast. We're only going, like, 45. But, you know, I was like, okay, well, you know, I am just being cautious because we're going towards the big road instead of pulling onto my road. Because usually if I'm flying home, not flying to that road. So then I go to pull out, and I, like, make sure that, like, you know, we're good both ways. But, of course, there's a hill. Keep that in mind. The speed limit is, like, supposedly there's a sign that says 30. I've never seen it, but, like, my mom checked recently, and there is a speed limit change because you cannot see. There's a warning that there's a road, but you cannot see. Like, people coming over the hill cannot see that there's a road unless they're paying attention to signs. And most of the time, people are going, like, 70 on that road. Again, keep that in mind. So important. And then there's a car coming this way, so I let them go. But then there was, like, another car, like, way down, but, like, no, like, not to be concerned about. Or, like, way down, because, like, it's flat from there until, like, you know, further down the road. And so I go to pull out, and, like, you know, I hit the gas, because, you know, a lot of the times you kind of got to floor it a little bit so you can go, because you're turning left in front of a car coming down, or, like, potential car coming down a hill, going, like, probably over 70, because if they're going, like, 60, 70, speed limit's 55, but nobody ever follows it, especially right there, because I've never seen a cop sit right there, or, like, in that general area. I go to pull out, and the car is not accelerating. The alert was a trans malfunction, and that means, like, transmission, I'm pretty sure. And I didn't know anything about it. Apparently the car's done this before, and my mom just turned it off and turned it back on, and it was fine. I realized that there was a malfunction. I was, like, towards, like, the stop sign. At that point, I should have turned around and gone home, but I was, like, past anywhere I really could have turned around without pulling onto the road and, like, doing a U-turn in the middle of the road, which is also dangerous because if somebody's whipping it onto the road. So I thought the best thing to do was, there's a hotel at the end of this, like, the road I was going to be turning onto. It was just, like, maybe a mile down, if that. And that's, like, kind of close to my grandparents. I was actually, like, just get me to that hotel so I can call my grandparents and see what's going on at the car, because my grandpa could come out and see what's going on, because I was, like, the quickest place I could turn around. And so I go to pull out on the road, and I see the cars coming, you know, but it's like slow motion in my head, and the car was not accelerating. Like, it was going, but, like, so slow. So now I'm, like, in the middle of the road, diagonal, hitting the gas as hard as I can. There's a car flying over the hill, like I warned you, you know, that big hill, and a car coming this way. This car's slowing down because they can see me. See, I'm, like, stuck in the road, probably like, what is this crazy person doing? I had Mariana in, I'm getting upset thinking about it. I had her on, like, behind the passenger seat, where would have got hit, not in a car seat base, not knowing for sure that she was, like, okay, safely buckled in. I was just trying to go, like, slam on the gas. So I start to turn, like, I'm like yanking the wheel, because like I knew at this point, like, I'm like, I don't know what to do. I need to get out of the road. I yanked the wheel, and I'm not a good driver too. Let's just keep this in mind throughout all of this. So even thinking of this stuff, like, has me in shock that I even could think of this, because normally if she wouldn't have been in the car, I would have just been sitting in the middle of the road like, what did I do? So they're coming. I think they actually were slowing down. They might have been smarter and slowed down, because I think if they were actually going like 70, they would have like killed us. And so then my back end was still in that like lane, and you know where Mariana is. So I'm like whipping the wheel, and then I'm like going still, but like not moving very fast. But they're going like, and I'm going like. So I was trying to like turn it, but you know there's still a car now coming head on at me, and I at least got us out of that other lane. And I think they still had to kind of scoot over to like miss hitting my very back end. And there was this really big ditch right as you're turning onto my road. Yeah, I told you about that gravel. I forgot to mention on both sides, there's really big ditches. They are deep, they are big, they are like, if you go into it, your car is going to be literally like this. I am now about to go, I finally get it turned around, and I have completely been slamming on the gas at this point. And I'm about to go into this ditch. So I'm like, keep whipping the wheel even more, slamming on the brake, because really you don't want to go to one extreme to another, but like it was terrifying. I was just trying to get out of the road, and I forgot that there was a ditch there. Was like this close to going into the ditch, and then there's the sign. I don't know what the sign says actually. Maybe there's the road sign. Either way, like this close to my car, and so it was like I almost went into the ditch. I almost hit a car. I almost got hit by cars. It was so terrifying. I mean, seriously, if I would have been an inch over in any of those scenarios when the cars were flying by, we would have gotten hit by a car, we would have went into a ditch, and we would have hit a sign. And I seriously don't know how the car even turned around as fast as it did. Like, it wasn't even like the car was moving, it was like something just like moved us. I don't know, there had to have been something watching us, the universe had it out for us. If you don't believe in God, that's fine, but like, I do. So like, I really felt like he was watching out for us that day. And I go home, and like, well, I stop. I'm still just sitting in this gravel part. And I'm like not breathing, I'm like, I don't even know what else. I wasn't even worried about Mariana, because I knew at this point she was like fine, but I was just like, oh my god. Actually, the worst part is, my first thought when I almost got hit was, oh, mom's gonna kill me. This is the worst car out of all of them to get into an accident with. It is the most impossible to get fixed. You have to drive an hour away to get it to the place to fix it. The warranty is a pain in the butt. Like, she had to get something fixed when we first moved back, and it took like 3 months before they got it back, and then somebody hit her car with a brand new BMW. Therefore, this brand new BMW has completely down in value, but also damaged my mom's car. It was, it was just a mess. So it would be terrible if something happened to that car again. I finally get going back on our road, and I'm just like bawling. Like, I am trying to breathe. I'm freaking out. Mariana's sound asleep still. It was terrifying. I know this wasn't an actual like accident, but it was like that close to being an accident. It could have been an accident. If it wasn't for something watching over us that day, I think it would have been an accident. I don't even know how I got us out of that situation. I don't even it doesn't sound that bad, but if you knew our road, you'd have to pretty much live on our road to understand it. One of my friends moved on our road 9 months ago, and he finally figured out why living on this road sucks. Called that friend, and they were sleeping because he works 3rd shift, and I was like, I kept calling, I was like, I really need somebody, to be there like ASAP, because I couldn't call my mom, she was out of town, I couldn't call Lee, he's at work. If I call my grandma, she's gonna have a heart attack. She's really she's completely paranoid, she has horrible anxiety. She actually thought, so I just didn't want to stress her out, and she was like mid getting food, she was driving herself, so I didn't want her to freak out. But I finally, when I couldn't get a hold of him, had to call her, and I told her, I was like, don't freak out, we're okay. She thought we did get into an accident, so she was like, where are you? And she was freaking out, of course, but she'd stayed relatively calm, and luckily she wasn't like mid-driving, she was at a drive-thru getting me food at that time. She said she'd be out soon, and so I ended up calling that friend again, and literally called until he woke up, because I was like, I seriously was struggling to breathe. It was so bad. It was probably one of the worst panic attacks I've had in a hot minute. I mean, it was just terrifying. Even if it was just me, it would have been scary, but like, having my baby in the car, and then also having her not in the middle, and then having her on the side that would have gotten hit, having her just buckled in with like the seatbelt. I mean, she's in a car seat, but like, you know what I mean? Like, not what I'm like normally comfortable with. It was just really terrifying. So he comes over and like helps me calm down till my grandma gets there. Grandma calls my grandpa, who's at the campgrounds, which is like My grandma's coming from this way, my grandpa's coming from this way. She's coming from not the hill, and he's coming from over the hill. So she gets there, and like, I was already calm. I kind of explained what actually happened, like the full story. And then my grandpa finally gets there, and when she called him to tell him what happened, he was like, really? The worst car to get into an accident with? Because again, when she first called him, they thought I had gotten into an accident. I didn't. Get into like a, where I hit something accident, aka like the definition of an actual accident, but like, that close. That close. He gets there, and he asked my friend to like go with him, or asked if he wants to ride with him because they were going to check out the car and see if it was going to do it again. It didn't for them. My mom still didn't know because, you know, this is her car that I was telling you about. She had my car. And when she got home, I told her on her way home or something because, like, you know, obviously everything is okay right now. They're actually getting the car fixed right now. This is, like I said, had happened to her before. And then we went to drive it the other day, and Marie was in the car, and it was even worse. Like, it would just, like, would not go away. The alert kept popping up, so we took it back home. It just wouldn't go over a certain speed, and that was so scary. So then, the thumbnail pictures, I get a call. My dad had taken Mariana on Saturday. This was also a Saturday. And, you know, he had hung out with her, brought her back, whatever. And then the next day, I get a call, completely unexpected, from my sister, and she goes, I need you to not freak out. And I was like, okay. I'm scared. I don't want to know. I'm going to freak out. I'm already freaking out. Because, like, I figured it probably had something to do with my dad, because, like, why else would she be calling me and not my dad? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think she would call me about anybody else and talk like that. You know, she would just tell me, hey, this is what happened. Well, actually, they probably wouldn't call me until they knew what was wrong if it was anybody else. She called me. She goes, your dad's been into an accident. His truck is totaled. We don't know. Nobody's talked to him. And that's all I know. So I'm freaking out. My dad just had Mariana. He was just okay. I just talked to him. I just didn't get to spend time with him. I was like, you know, he's probably more involved in my life than he's ever gotten to be now that I have Mari. And even thinking about him, I was crying. Whew. So I didn't know if he was okay. I didn't know if he was alive. They don't know anything at all. We then find out quickly after that her mom did talk to my dad, and he actually had called her, and that's how they figured out that he had gotten into an accident, but we still didn't know anything about the accident. And he almost had the dog, the Great Dane, with him, and that's even scarier because, like, you know, you can't buckle a dog in. He also had the small truck, and the big truck that he got into a car accident with was so damaged. So I finally figure out, like, I call him and make sure he's okay. He does have some issues with his chest that might never get better because your chest, due to, like, breathing and everything, is constantly working. But he was actually refusing to go to the hospital, but finally did after a few days. Luckily he was all okay, but it was just like, life can change in a blink of an eye, and that's kind of like the moral of me telling all of this. And like, if that was a day sooner, that could have been with Mariana. Like, I'm glad that my dad was okay, but it's a lot easier. Well, the baby's in a car seat that should protect her more, but like, it's a lot easier for a baby to get hurt in something than an adult, because obviously a baby's smaller and more fragile than an adult, and it was his back end that got totaled, and it was just terrifying. So he had slipped on ice and like tried to like correct it, and it ended up going in the other lane, but then he like saw a car coming at the bottom of a hill, also whipped it. My only car accident or whatever was that I got into 2 now, almost 3. I can do a whole different story time on it, but I fell asleep at the wheel. Also, I hate driving with Mariana and won't drive more than like 10 minutes away because yeah, I will fall asleep at the wheel. And when I was pregnant, I didn't drive like 95% of my pregnancy because I was more tired than ever, and I was like, I will fall asleep behind the wheel. I have a belly now. My belly was seriously like freaking Santa Claus, but like worse. So it was like blocking, like it would get the the hit before I would. So that's not even part of this. So yeah, his truck is completely totaled. They got the car the other day. Got the call the other day. He actually just totaled the vehicle like not that long ago, like maybe a year or something, because a deer literally ran into him. He didn't hit the deer ran into him. Or maybe he hit I don't really know how it happened, but either way, it was like the deer's fault. Everybody from the car accident was fine, but like the road was blocked for a long time. He had another thing happen. So as he was standing there and he went to go check on the other people, because I think he said they had kids. I don't know. The story's a little jumbled because of how it got told to me. and he went to walk back to his truck, and a vehicle, because it was at the bottom of the hill so they couldn't see the accident, road is icy. They went to like stop from hitting the one vehicle and about hit him. They were literally, if he would have taken a step forward, he probably would not be here today. Like, they were so close to taking him out. And again, this road was also a road where you go a higher speed limit, and then if you're on ice, that makes it even worse because you cannot like stop, you can't slow down, whereas at least for my situation, it wasn't icy. He literally was so close to getting taken out, not from the accident, but from a car, having to swerve away from the accident and almost getting him. And this happened multiple times, but the first car didn't, but the second car almost got him. So it was terrifying to even like be told all of it, and like getting that call is something you never want to hear. I mean, me and my dad have not had the best relationship pretty much all of my life. I have some help with the rest of this story. Hey girlfriend! My life, my family's, like, so many important people, their lives flash before my eyes, and it's just like, it can be taken away in a second. Literally in a second. And look at this happy baby. Like, how can you think that's even possible? Look at this healthy chunkers. The main reason for making this is to just share that, like, it is so easy for it to be taken away. Life is so precious. Like, somebody doesn't have to be sick or hurt or have any prior issues and literally can just be gone in a second. So appreciate and cherish and spend time and tell the people you love that you love them. And I hope this was an eye-opener for all of you to really cherish the time you have with the ones you love. Tell them you love them, and just make sure to be careful, because seriously, anything can happen in a second. It can just, life can be taken away in a second. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the story of when me and my baby almost got into a car accident, and then when my dad did and totaled his vehicle a day after having her with him. Bye!